idea, and that is that so many people say to you, and I've had it as an engineer, I walk in and they say, "You're an engineer?" And I say, "You work in technology, it's kind of boring, you know." And I just look at them and say, how could that be boring? You know, there's nothing boring about that, but they look at you with that, you know the look, you know. And so I have to tell people, you know, in fact, working on technology, working in information systems is so exciting. In fact, it's dangerous. And they're like, what? And I said, yeah. I remember I was working on a system for the U.S. Navy, actually down here near Fort Meade, the Naval Ordnance Station in NTEN, Maryland. And we had put a system in. I was like, again, it was from NASA and Lockheed. The congressperson and I have a lot of things in common. But we put in a system. I was asked to put this in, and it was an information system with robotics and all of this. And they have down there's an old farm, and they have little hills, and they cut out bunkers, literally carved bunkers into these things. You go inside and you see, you know, rocks and all of this. And what they do is that it turns out the U.S. Navy has to, besides all of the ordnance that it shoots off, from little ignition caps all the way up to Tomahawk missiles, they have to X-ray it before it gets sent wherever it's going to get sent. And it all goes through Indiana and Maryland. And so what they had is for years they X-ray everything just like it used to be in the dentist office, where they have film and all that. And now, of course, it's all digital. Well, at this point, it was back by the time of Desert Storm, that at this point, they were just converting to digital. So I came, Lockheed had the contract, and they called me and said, well, I designed this licensure. And they have 4 different bunkers with 4 different, because they have different things, you know, from the little guys all the way up to the big Tomahawk missiles. 2 of them would be on a slider and be running back and forth in front of the X-ray machine. And it was a big contract to build the 4 systems. And I looked at it and I scratched my head a little bit. And I said, this is kind of crazy, because they all got robots and they're all looking at the same kind of things. And they just, you know, just different sizes and different X-ray systems. Why don't we build one application and then use data to describe whether you're looking at this kind of robot or this kind of X-ray device. And then you start up your system, and in fact, you then read in the data and you know what it is. If we make a change to the system, we have one application program, and we just have the same application everywhere. It works for everybody. Just read in that. And sure enough, that turned out to be a good thing for Desert Storm, because if you read what happened is they launched and they had the Tomahawk missiles for about 16, 18 hours. They stopped. And all the news reports were like, that must be strategic. It's not going into Baghdad. Oh, they stopped. And then about, I don't know, 18 hours later, they started up again. Oh, that's strategic. And no, what happened is my system broke. And this ball, it's down. I'm trying to figure out what's happening. Basically what they did is they went and they had a problem with that one. And I said, well, we know what the design is. Go grab the computer out of that bunker, grab the image processor out of that bunker, grab this, put it back together. They brought it up and they said, oh, it doesn't work. It seems to start up and won't do anything. I said, oh, wait a minute, the motor and that one over there went backwards. So we put a minus in the data. Yeah. Put a minus in, oh, it was up. So good design is really great. But the real money is like, well, that sounds pretty dangerous. But you know, you're not there. I mean, that's different. Here's what's dangerous. When we first brought this up, we had it seemed like such a good idea, but there was one little bunker with one thing that we could never, there was always a problem with it. And we had come and gone back to California, and finally I said, that's it, I gotta go out there, I'm gonna fix it. So you couldn't go before 9 o'clock in the morning, because that's when all the civil servants arrive, and they take you, go there, you park your car by the officers club, and they drive you over to wherever you're working. And it made me a little crazy, because at 10 minutes to noon every day, you'd saunter back to your car, and you'd drive over to the officers club, and you'd spend an entire hour eating lunch. Then you'd saunter back to your car, and go back to whatever bunker was there. Well, I was in Silicon Valley. I was in, California's like, get it done, technological types. And when they get in, they're going to make it work. This is like, thought that was it. I flew all the way back. I drove all the way down there. I tried to get this thing to work. And so I knew. So there it was at that 10 to 12, and they're all saying, okay, I guess we're going over to the O Club. And I'm like, I'm not going. I'm not moving until this thing works. They go, you're not going. You have to go to the officer's club. I'm like, I'm not going. I'm going to sit here to horse you. I'm going to sit here till it works. And so they went, they got a bunch of retired NCOs that drove around in trucks. And they got this guy that said, you watch her. Now, of course, this is a number of years ago. So he's like, oh, this is cool. My job is to watch the blonde. My kind of job. And he goes, yeah, that's good. So he would just sit there. He'd sit there and just watch me. So these guys go to their car. They drive away. About, the clock just goes right. It was the analog clock in those days. It goes right up to noon. And at noon, there's this big explosion. And things are coming down from the top of the bunker and dirt and all this. Couldn't believe what was going on. And so they said, okay, what could this possibly mean? And it's like, and I said, oh my God, he's having a big chuckle. And I said, what is going on? And he said, look, because in case the contractors don't work out the contracts, we have to build the ordinance here every day to make sure we can do it in case the contractors don't do it. And every day between noon and 1, they blow off all the ordinance. And that's why everybody goes to the officers' club. I said, well, I'm just like, this is not a good place to be. And I said, well, I said, well, now I understand why I shouldn't be here. He goes, no, you really don't understand. You shouldn't be here ever. And I said, why is that? He said, you're standing on the nation's surplus of nitroglycerin. So if anybody tells you that working on information systems is easy and dangerous, not dangerous, you tell them that story. That's absolutely true. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was like, really gotta go now.
Alright.
Okay. How you doing?
Okay. Because everybody's kind of walking out.
Moving out, yeah.
Michaela was over there. Maybe I'll go find her.
Okay.
I'll be
Michaela,
right back.
who's that?
Michaela Hackner, do you know her?
No, I don't.
Okay, she's another storyteller person.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I did want to
She
talk
works
about
for
that.
Forum 1 Communications.
Okay, I saw those tweets going on.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I'll go find her. She's
Okay.
on her. How are you this morning?
I'm doing good.
Everyone.
I had to take the Metro in from Maryland this morning, and it was just like super frustrating because it was like late, delays and stuff like that, but they said it was cool.
Yeah, it's no big deal.
And other than that, I'm just like super tired from like Austin and the past like 8 days of out on the road just running around.
Yeah, I think today we'll see a lot of tired. I mean, last day too.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like leaving like later this morning or early afternoon.
Yeah.
excited about. I guess I had a couple questions for Beth.
You doing all the interviews then?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm on there. Likewise.
Stay on that line.
Stay on this
That's
line
the
right
line
here.
right there. Whoever you interview, try to stay on close with. Yeah, have them on the line
So-
too.
so they'll be on the
we would
line?
Be on the line too, yeah.
Just kind of like this.
Kind of like
Okay.
this, yeah.
And it's kind of like talking to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool. Because it has to be like in this square. Here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Since we're doing it so close.
Is it cool if I like keep my notepad in front of me? Just like.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, Michaela, how are you doing? I know your hands are full. Okay. So are they all is like Beth and Michaela gonna be like here, or is it like one at a time? Okay, cool. Okay, cool. And I guess since they're all here, I was just gonna ask about maybe just have each of them talk about the day of service, the importance of storytelling.
Yeah, so basically the way James did it yesterday,
Yeah.
like before everything, and then he asked the people to do the
Exactly. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, so they do some stuff, and then we just go around to the questions, and it's pretty good at asking the questions individually,
Yeah.
they're not touching.
Exactly. Okay, because I wasn't sure who might actually be showing up.
Right.
So I did have a couple of questions.
Come on over.
So what exactly am I being interviewed about? Just about the storyteller stuff.
Yeah, so I'm gonna introduce myself, and I'm gonna let you introduce yourself, and just kind of talk about, maybe like the day of service and the importance of like storytelling and capturing stories.
Okay.
And I guess that'll be the first question.
Yeah, and
Are these going to be edited at all or no? No, it's just
it's live.
it's just live. Oh, this is live.
Yeah, and it's just sort of filler for the
Okay.
breaks kind of thing, so it's kind of informal. You don't need to worry about anything. You can crack jokes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe don't swear, but that's my reminder to myself.
Okay. So this is the mic. You just need to talk a little bit louder than you normally would because of the background noise. But this will pick up your voice pretty well.
Yeah.
If you can talk as loud as I'm talking right now, you'll be fine.
Okay. All right.
Which shouldn't be hard considering I'm not gifted with the instrument.
You're kind of mellow, laid back right now.
My voice
Okay.
is high pitched and squeaky.
Yes.
So
Did he
I can
did David
relate
have
to
like
that.
talk about like, the organization that he's with, or should I just say what?
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a
feel
little
free.
bright. I'm a little sorry.
Okay.
Michaela first.
Your bag is over there. I'll put it by your bag. Okay, thanks.
Okay. Oh, he's here.
There he is.
So yeah, we can do it all. We can do everybody at the same time, or we can. It's up to you guys.
Beth
how
should
you
go
wanna
first,
do
so she can show me how to do it right.
And also I have to meet someone, so
Okay.
She should go
okay,
first.
so I'm not going to show you. I'll show you how to do it wrong, and you figure out how to do it
Not
right.
all day.
So okay,
Okay.
If you go first, then you have your questions for Beth.
Yeah.
The ones you have.
Yeah.
And then finish with the storyteller. You can talk a little bit about the storyteller stuff.
Okay.
Or day service.
Day of
Yeah, day of
service.
service,
Okay.
yeah.
And then that'll segue into the
Okay.
to that.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just probably ask you just about like network nonprofit, just kind of the community that you developed, any kind of feedback that you've been getting, maybe some work with Zoetica and like kind of trends with these nonprofits and social media.
We just talk, maybe ask a question, because I know you're not network nonprofit, you write about free agents and fortresses. That's what I did a session on yesterday.
Oh, you did that
Yeah,
already?
yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I did that yesterday, so you could ask me about that.
Okay,
Because
the
I can remember something intelligent to say in response.
Yeah, so ask you about the session that you did yesterday. With,
Right, and then ask about the day of service.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Well, like 2 minutes, a minute.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
2
Yeah.
minutes?
Yeah,
Okay.
that should be fine.
Ask the day of service question first.
Day of service?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
So say you were, you got up on the bus at 6 a.m. and you and Mark and Sean were
Yeah.
documenting the day of service.
Okay. And then the importance of storytelling, having stories.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Because I could talk that for the whole thing,
Okay, that's
which would
fine.
be great.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, you gotta stay kind of here, right here.
Okay, right here. Okay.
Yeah.
Do I look at you or the camera? I look at you, right?
Yeah, look at
Okay.
you. Okay. All right,
Okay.
we're ready.
We're ready.
just came back.
Okay, they're about to.
Say what? Hi, good morning. My name's Andre Blackman. I'm with the American Heart Association doing some digital media for them. We are here at the Nonprofit Technology Conference, and I'm here with the wonderful Beth Kanter.
And I'm here with the wonderful mind of Andre on
Thank you
Twitter.
so very much, Beth. And definitely just go ahead for the people that may not know you as well. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure, I'm Beth Kanter. I write a blog called Beth's Blog. I'm the co-author of the book of the Network Nonprofit, and I'm a partner in a company called Zoetica. And last but not least, I'm also a visiting scholar at the David and Lucille Backer Foundation.
Fantastic, Beth. So I know when the conference got started, you went out for the day of service.
Yes.
And really early in the morning, but it was for a good cause. So tell us a little bit about the day of service and the importance of storytelling.
Sure. Well, I've been with the days. I've done 11 day of services.
Wow.
So
okay.
this is my 11th one, and it was, I think, the best ever because we had 3 incredible projects. But my role in this was to go out with Mark Horvath and Sean Ahmed and myself. We got on the bus at 6:30 a.m. with lots of coffee, and we really documented all of the stories of the 3 different projects. We did meal preparation in DC Kitchen. There was a wireless network being installed. And there was computer recycling. And so what was really interesting for me, I had a couple angles on it. My angle was to shadow Sean and Mark and ask them questions about their practice of story capture along the way. And so I got about maybe 30 minutes of footage from them talking about it, but I cut it down to like the nuggets. So there is an amazing post on the NTEN blog that talks about how these guys who are really experts at story capture, what's going through their mind and how they do it. And what I learned was that Sean tends to look for the interesting person.
I see.
And then really goes deep with them in a big interview and then does editing. Because he says the interesting person is where the interesting story is.
Exactly.
What Mark does is he looks at a whole timeline, and so he's capturing along the way, and then he goes in to find interesting soundbite to explain the timeline. And of course we talked a lot of different tools and stuff. The cool thing I learned about is this thing called the extended arm. So if you're capturing and you don't have a partner to do interviewing and you want to be in the shot, you do the arm and you turn to the camera and you can do it.
I see.
And it's an inexpensive item. It was great.
So a piece of equipment just to kind of enhance the interview session.
Yeah. And what was really cool for the documentation is that the 3 of us, we do video, we do photos, we do tweeting. So I was doing we were doing all 3 at the same time. And then we each aggregated our massive amount of documentation up on the NTC Day of Service wiki. So we each had a diary page, and then I was able to pull from there to tell the story of the Day of Service. And what was interesting about that was my approach is to kind of get some B-roll of what the flavor was. So I had the B-roll, but then I was able to pick the really good interviews that they captured. Plus the great photographs of technique. So
that's fantastic.
Yeah, so it was a really rich day of documentation.
Right, and I've been seeing so many different tools popping up around storytelling. I think there's a tool called Storyfy that's in beta. Do you know about Storyfy?
I know about that because Devin Smith, who's here, has captured my panels with Storyfy.
Fantastic.
And I think it's right now. I think you have to have an invitation or a special code to get access.
I think it's still in beta, but it's a really good way to introduce social media and different kind of nuggets to kind of stitch it all together into something meaningful.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing to show an end user who doesn't get it yet. And it's a great tool for those of us who are facile with all the different tools to take notes. It's perfect for documentation.
Yeah. All right. And is there anything that you want to talk about? Maybe your session yesterday that occurred here at the conference?
Our session yesterday totally rocked.
Fantastic. So, of course it did.
Well, I'll tell you why. Because I had Sean and Mark, who were the free agents, and we had 3 representatives from nonprofits. So when I set them up as couples, so we had the free agent and the nonprofit that they worked with, and we played the newlywed game.
Oh, of course.
Okay, so what was your first date? What makes for a good relationship? And of course I facilitate so the audience can participate. So we were able to have a really rich and deep conversation about this topic. Plus I had my colleague Johnny Goldstein who did the graphic facilitation.
Johnny, fantastic.
So and also we had the cartoon blogger. So Rob Cottingham. So what was really great was I was like really free to extract the knowledge that was not only on the front of the room, but in the room itself.
Okay.
So look for a blog post.
Yeah, some fantastic visual components to it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so very much,
Great.
Beth.
Thank you, Andre.
All right. And enjoy the rest of the conference.
Great. Thank you.
Okay.
Blab, 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 blab.
Hey, welcome back. Andre Blackman once again interviewing some people in between the sessions here at NTC. And today we have Michaela. And please go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience and let them know what you're about and what you're doing here.
Sure. My name is Michaela Hackner, and I'm a project director at 401 Communications. And we work with nonprofit organizations and help them change the world using the web. And my area of expertise in particular is online storytelling. And so I love to work with organizations and really help them leverage their stories on the web and help compel action to really make change in the world.
Fantastic, Michaela. And just for all the nonprofits here, can you tell us a little bit about why you think storytelling is really important? I mean, this is something that's really been popping up and becoming popular on the web. Like I was telling Beth earlier, Storify is a tool that really puts together social media. So why is now a great way, a great important tool to use with storytelling?
So storytelling is really important in general because it's a way to cut through all the clutter on the internet and really connect with your audience. And what I think is the biggest benefit of storytelling for nonprofits is they have amazing stories to tell. At the end of the day, that's what's going to drive people to come back to your website, to really get involved and to engage and to volunteer or donate or take some sort of action. And every time I come to a meal at NTEN, and I've done this for the past 3 years, I sit down next to somebody new, and I say, so tell me a great story about your organization.
Yeah.
And they launch into this amazing story about how they've done this and this person's life is different, or how their own lives are different because of what they've done with their organization.
Absolutely.
And then I say, well, is your story on your website? And they're like, oh,
yeah,
no.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's such a little thing that you can do, and it has so much power.
Yeah.
So I just love coming here and helping remind people of the resources they have right under their noses that don't cost a lot more money, that are just inherently the beauty of the great work that they do, and it's really important to get it out there for everyone to see.
Very well put. I mean, I think a lot of nonprofits are doing that good human work. We're in the communities. We're not really pushing like a brand or anything like that, but we're in the business of telling stories. And that kind of reminded me of Dan Heath's session.
He's totally set up my storytelling session.
Exactly. I mean, he really hit the nail on the head as far as nonprofits and highlighting the good. Looking at hope
and emotion.
Exactly.
And
exactly. And I think that's we're at a great intersection right now with the tools online, storytelling, but really kind of switching from the negative, the pity models to celebrations. So. That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Michaela. I appreciate you stopping by.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Hello again. My name is Andre Blackman here at the NTC conference, and here I am with Dawn Crawford. And please, Dawn, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Dawn Crawford. I am a social media and communications consultant for BCDC Ideas out of Raleigh, North Carolina, and I love amplifying nonprofits' genius through communications and social media.
Excellent, excellent. And so, Dawn, this is your second time being at NTC, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So since you're a communications person, and the conference is, has the word technology in it, did you get any kind of value this time around, or can you talk a little bit about what you got from the conference and the sessions that you've been to?
Definitely. I'm a geek at heart, and I don't necessarily.
I think I am too.
Yeah. I don't necessarily have that engineering and math side part of my brain. So as far as communications and using social media, it's been a perfect confluence for me. Because I'd be able to geek out, but still get to use words and be able to communicate in such a profound way and tell nonprofit stories. Okay. So the sessions I've been going to are a lot about fundraising and using technology for fundraising too, because it's that total package of what nonprofits need to do and learn.
It's a main source of, the lifeblood of nonprofits a lot of times.
Yeah, and just listening to really smart people and connecting. I mean, the value for me about this conference is meeting amazingly smart people from all over the country. I was just about to say that the networking aspect is huge out there. Yes, definitely. And it's so profound, the people you get to meet here. And this really is the best of the best. And to be able to spend a couple days and be able to pick their brain on the ideas that they have and be able to have that one-on-one contact with people is just incredibly invaluable.
Great. So do you think you'll be coming back again?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
Yes, this is an annual trek for me.
Okay, fantastic. Now, a lot of these things with these massive conferences that you get a whole lot of information, you get inundated with tips and tricks and advice. What, I guess, for you, what are maybe the top 2 or 3 or 1 or 2 kind of things that you can go back, and take back to Raleigh, North Carolina, and kind of put into action?
I think it's about breaking it down into tiny bits. It's something that I really work with my clients on, is creating that good old plan. So it's really kind of looking at all the things that you've learned over the conference and picking out those aha moments and saying, this is what I'm going to implement in the next month. And then create a list and say, in April, I'm going to try something different. So I think that's how I do it. It's just breaking it down into tiny bits. But keeping a list and reminding yourself, and then you also get to relive NTC all year long.
There you go. Well, I mean, for me, it would make a lot of sense to just like pick 1 or 2 kind of things and make sure you do it correctly, and then maybe have like a running list of things that you want to try out. Because I think what another part of this conference is just trying things out, trying out what's new, what's useful for you, and allowing yourself that kind of flexibility. It's a different mindset. So, and I've really gotten a lot out of just like a lot of the plenary speakers and. Dan Heath.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I love you.
I mean, it basically kind of woke a lot of people up. It's like, we need to start paying attention to different things, and most especially the success and the hope. So
yes. I've been talking a lot about my elephant.
There you
the last
go.
couple days. Been whipping that elephant.
There you go. And a lot of people are going to be like, what's the rider and the elephant? So I think all of us are going to kind of go back and have like a nice poster of, the rider and the elephant, just to keep us keep us conscious.
Definitely. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so very much, Dawn, for coming out here.
Thank you.
And I guess I'll see you back in North Carolina.
That's right.
All right.
Thanks.
Take care.